Hello, this is Joyful Hermit, and I thought in true authenticity I ought to talk a little bit about suffering and detachment. I suffer from constant pain. As you can see, this morning I'm up. I usually wake up with a lot of pain and sometimes tears streaming down my face, just my body is reacting to pain. For the past couple of years, the pain got so bad that I'm on pain medication now all the time. It's something to help me even sleep at night, because the pain was out of control beyond what, of course, any pain clinic could do, whatever, with those. Sometimes you just have to be humbled and do what you need. So this is a beautiful Sunday morning, and I am waiting for pain medication to take effect to help. I haven't put on any makeup, as you notice. I'm wearing my old gray flannel nightgown from my gray jumper days when everything was gray and simple and wonderful in a way. But life isn't always so simple. And again, I say charity for me is the rule, and to consider how other people feel. I used to go around like this, just looking very ill all the time, and that's also part of me. I think in the last, video post, I mentioned to be yourself, but yet I also had spoken about wearing makeup or colorful clothes as sort of a distraction. But I do that, hopefully out of charity. We never really know if our motives are truly pure or not. Only God knows. Detachment is, for example, even if you have nice things or go along with the culture in some ways with good motives, but we aren't imprisoned by it. For example, I mentioned I had gotten rid of all my clothes and most of my possessions at one time in my life, and it was quite easy for me to do that. It was freeing, actually, and fun. But it wasn't necessarily responsible, and it made me stand out more, which goes against with my interpretation through prayer of some of what a hermit is to be according to the church and the vocation of the hermit, to be hidden from the eyes of men and have stricter separation from the world. The whole point is to detach ourselves from creatures, as St. Alphonsus Liguori says, and to have union with God, to love God and have union with Him. Detachment also, though, includes being able to function in ways in which God has created us and placed us on this earth out of charity, to function with others and to fit in and to be at peace, yet not be imprisoned by what we wear, where we live, and what we do. So that's just a little bit more. I want to read to you a poem called Listen to My Blood. I'm going to talk a little bit about how this poem came into being about 6 months before I became a Catholic, or even decided to go ahead and speak to a priest that I had been shown a couple of years prior that I was to talk to. I had a vision one morning. I woke up, and to the right side of my bed was a huge crucifix with Jesus on it. And he lifted me up to that up to himself and held me. And I had on a white nightgown with little roses or something that I had worn at that time. It's worn out, tossed out now. And he put my left ear up to his side where the wound was, and blood poured into my ear. And I heard him say, "Listen to my blood." And that was all. And then about maybe 7 or 8 months later, after I had gone and started speaking and receiving private instruction to this priest, I one morning was writing on my laptop, and this was back, in fact I have it dated May 28th of 1995. I had this poem just flow through me, and I started writing it on the laptop. And it was called Listen to My Blood. Listen to my blood, I tell you. That's why I drew your ear to my wounded side, pressed your ear into myself, so you could hear the message of suffering sacrifice, so you could sound out my pain and know that you are not alone, and know that my blood speaks for you and all who love me enough to listen. Listen to my blood, and you will hear the rhythm of the universe coursing through your veins from mine, whispering secrets of divinity, of my loneliness and persecutions, of my physical and mental torments. Oh yes, I felt all human stirrings of desire, and held my heart out to this world of beauty, sensation, and tempting wonders. But listen to my blood, you mortal, you who would wish not to suffer so on one level, yet yearn to be one with my blood for now and ever. Listen well, for my blood flows into you and fills you with powers of forgiveness, healing, hope, belief, and love, and nourishes you with the peace to seek and find me within your human heart. Listen to my blood and smell its sweetness, like the sickening pain, so sweet that it seems unnatural for you to suffer so. But I tell you that the strength of my blood cleanses your weakness, washes your fears into the deep veins of faith, floods your longings with satisfaction, gushes my greatness into your soul, which now is weeping, now laughing with joy. For my sorrows are your sorrows, my loneliness your loneliness, my joy, my life's blood, all yours, my love who hears with bloodied ear. My love, do you know my love? Just listen. This poem is quite meaningful to me, and even now this morning as I am really ill with pain, and I was thinking last night of a little note that someone had placed beside me on the pew during Mass about 2 years ago or more. I have, I guess what you would call ecstasies, I call it the state, during Mass, at every Mass, where I'm lifted out of myself and my body is totally sort of like unconscious. And somebody left a little note asking me to pray for her husband, Kevin, and that he would find God and come back to his family. And I guess I sort of wondered who it was. I had an idea. I've prayed and prayed and prayed. The note is faded and worn now. And just last night, when a woman called, I asked if this person who I thought it was, if her husband had left her. And she said, oh yes, they've been divorced. And I am very touched by that this woman thought that I suppose that somehow my prayers could make a difference. And I have to trust in the Lord that they somehow did, that God's will was done. This man did leave her and married someone else, and that was part of the prayer and part of the suffering for her life, to be called closer into Him, to listen to His blood. God intends this for everyone, to be close to Him, and it always means the cross in whatever way, shape, or form. And the cross always leads us, though, to much happiness and glory. You might notice I have these little spots under my eyes. They've gotten darker with age. But during my back surgery, which ended up being an emergency surgery, and in recovery I died. I'll go into that story another time, but my eyes, they had patched over my eyes and had taped. And each time when I came out of the anesthetic, the first time they tore these off, then they had to rush me back into surgery after I was sent back by God to live. But they still didn't think they could save me, although I knew that I would live because I had been told I would. I was given the choice to either go on with God or to come back. And I said, whatever you will. And God sent me back to rear my children and to fulfill my mission. But they again, after the second surgery, they tore off these patches and left scars on my face, which showed up increasingly, and they're my wounds in a way. And this is the reality of what pain does to a person. It ages you, it makes your eyes red and sunken at times, and I'm not even in the worst of pain this morning. But it's also my identity. Yesterday, when I talked about hermit garments, I said that I didn't want for other people my identity to be pain. And I don't want that for other people to, but that is my identity in Christ. I am on the cross with Him always. God bless His real presence in you, and I hope at times to speak more about suffering, because everyone suffers and everyone will suffer at some point in time or other in this life or in purgatory, and suffering can be a very beautiful gift from God. Nothing to be spurned, nothing to be cast aside, but to be lifted up on the cross with Christ, to have our ears pressed into His wounded side, for His blood to flow into us, and to fill us with graces of love and beauty, and the determination and endurance to simply keep going in this life, and to learn to love, to learn to love. God bless His real presence in you.